I tell you what's fun to watch play out. A customer heartfeltly asking for something and a company telling them no. How about no? That's playing out with Carnival Cruise Line right now. And well, the early votes are starting to come in and we're starting to get a good idea of whether or not cruise ships will be banned in Juneau, Alaska. That plus a whole lot more. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news and views for your face on a Thursday the 3rd of October, 2024. And well, it's going to be an interesting show today. Let's start where we left off yesterday. I threw up this headline with a little bit of a cliffhanger. I wanted to see what you thought the answer to the headline was. Look, this is the way news seems to be these days. And I do get a lot of enjoyment every day out of going through all of these websites and trying to discern and decipher what the headline means. These headlines like this, they do their job because I end up digging deeper. This one was passengers are bizarrely hiding this child's bath toy on cruise ships with at least one clamping down. Please don't. A lot of you guys got it right. The bath toy that they're talking about is rubber ducks on a cruise ship. Rubber ducky, you're the one. Rubber ducks on a cruise ship. And the one cruise line that's come out and said, hey, we don't want your rubber ducks on our cruise ship, that would be Disney Cruise Line. So that was a fun exercise. But another one has presented itself today. Check out this headline. Carnival Cruise Line shares food rule to stop nightmare situation. Dun, 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 dun. When I read it before I got into the article, I was like, oh, I wonder if this is what this is from the street. And they do a lot of what many of us do. We'll go and watch John Heald's Facebook page and pick up on some of the controversies down there and then repackage it into a story. And so this one, I was like, well, recently I heard him talking about people not taking up the seats during busy buffet times. What could it be? Well, I wasn't expecting this one. I had to chew on this one for a little bit. There was a customer out there that was very upset because they could not find chewing gum at the candy store on Carnival. They could not find chewing gum at the gift shop on Carnival, and they wanted to know what the deal was. Why was Carnival not selling chewing gum? The original poster mentioned that they had bariatric surgery and that their doctor had told them to chew gum 3 times a day. I use chewing gum when I'm trying to lose weight because it helps, I guess, with any kind of oral fixation, or, you know, I can definitely curb my desire to eat stuff by eating sugar-free gum or chewing sugar-free gum. I don't know if that's the same thing with the bariatric surgery. Mine's just like a mental thing, I think. They're upset because they went on the Carnival Jubilee and they weren't able to pick up gum beforehand. They also like to use gum to keep their ears from popping on the airplane. And lo and behold, once they got onto the cruise ship, there was no bubble gum to be found. John Heald, he answered these folks and said, how about no? We are not selling bubble gum. They don't prohibit bubble gum, chewing gum on Carnival cruise ships. In fact, I don't think any cruise lines prohibit chewing gum, but it seems like, according to John, chewing gum is a big problem for Carnival cruise ships because people are savages. People are, uncontrolled animals. They take the chewing gum and just put it anywhere. And I think we've all run into this. We've all stepped on a piece of gum on a piece of carpet, or, fidgeting or something, touch part of a table, and all of a sudden you're touching somebody's piece of chewing gum. It's all those people. That's the reason why we can't have nice things and they don't sell us any bubble gum on the Carnival cruise ship. It makes sense, especially something that's so hard to clean and it's so pervasive when people are disrespectful with it. But yeah, so there you go. Customer reaches out. They weren't really nice about it either. That's the other thing. Sometimes I think some of these John Heald stories are made up because I don't understand people. I don't really think that people could be this mean about stuff. I don't know. I never understand the argument where people are just saying mean stuff to you to try to get some sort of be a part of the conversation. It happens all the time in social media, and it certainly happened in this gum one. There's the question for the comments, I guess. Do you think Carnival should be selling bubble gum? I agree with them. I don't think they should sell gum. There's the cautionary tale also. You got the question and the cautionary tale. I guess if you need bubble gum for your cruise, you got to pick it up before you get to the cruise ship, which is probably good because it's going to be cheaper anyways. Cruise news story number 2. Let's check in with our friends over there at Villa V. They're supposed to be in Brest, France later on this week. I believe they filed an itinerary to be there on the 4th of October. But if we look at this ship mapper locator, it looks like they're in the same place that they were yesterday. So I haven't really heard much out of it other than they're filing their last paperwork so that they can travel on. I'm just going to keep watching it until they get going. So, we're probably tired of talking about it. I get it. But I'm curious now. I just want to see when they get going. They don't seem to have left from where they were yesterday. So the watch continues. Cruise news story number 3, and I haven't talked about this one much. What about the Longshoreman strike? Everything I've read about this is, of course, the Longshoremen went on strike. These are the people that work at the ports, primarily in shipping, but they also have longshoremen that work at the cruise ports. These are the people that are in charge of getting cargo ships loaded and unloaded and freight moved from containers, or containers moved over to tractor trailers. It's a big cog in the machine of goods shipping and transportation. A lot of stuff goes on, and these longshoremen are saying, look, we're not going to work until we get whatever contract that we want to get working. And it's caused a lot of questions from people to say, well, what about cruisers? Everything that I'm reading and everything that I've seen publicly stated is that there's no intention from the longshoremen who are on strike to impact cruises. I think my buddy Don pointed out rightfully the other day that the longer that this goes, that maybe there could be an impact to cruising, like if goods can't make it to the cruise ship, that kind of thing. I'm not that deep into it, so I don't really have a good analytical sense of it, like, well, whether or not I think something's going to happen. But if anybody's close to it out there, maybe you know. But the public facing stuff has been saying no impact to cruise ships, which is good. Cruise news story number 4, we're 3 days into October, and for many businesses, October represents the beginning of a new fiscal year. And that's true for one of the most popular cruise ports in the world, Port Canaveral. Just a couple days ago on Tuesday, they submitted their new budget for approval to port commissioners, and it got approved 4-1. And that's exciting, but the thing that's really exciting for cruising is their new budget is like a record budget. They were approved of a budget of $210 million, and that's a budget of about $23 million more than the previous year. Of course, this budget is based off of revenues and all of that. $175 million of that big budget will be coming from cruising, and this continues to be a year-over-year increase since cruising has resumed past the whole shutdown. So certainly from a business perspective, an indicator of the trajectory of the cruise industry is the money that is allocated and approved based on revenues that are represented in budgets. And with all that said, that seemed like a mouthful. With all of that said, a good indicator for the prospects of cruising as budgets continue to rise year over year, and Port Canaveral continues to kick some serious booty. Sometimes I forget there's like a whole business side to cruising. You know, I enjoy going and just being on a cruise ship, but the inner workings of, budgeting and technology and all that stuff, it still fascinates me. So there you go. Port Canaveral saying yes to another big budget for the next fiscal year of cruising. And I told you sometime last week that on Saturday of last week, there would be a big vote in Juneau, Alaska, a vote that would ban cruise ships from coming to Juneau on Saturdays. And well, the early results are in, and it's an interesting outcome. I'll say that. I'm going to tell you all about it. But first, let me quickly invite you to subscribe if you like staying up to date with everything going on in cruising. Please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Thank ye in advance. I do want to give a big shout out to everybody that participated in the ludicrous game yesterday. A lot of people got the answer right. So I was singing The City of New Orleans, and it was written by a guy named Steve Goodman. Interesting song. It talks about a traveler making his way from Chicago down to New Orleans, and it was famously recorded by Arlo Guthrie. And then the version that I know, and it's probably my favorite version, is the version by Willie Nelson. My dad was a big Willie Nelson fan, so I got exposed to a lot of Willie's music. Thanks for playing the ludicrous game. I don't have one for today. I can't think of any sing-song stuff to go with the show today, but stay tuned for future episodes and we will play the ludicrous game again. Okay, here's the deal. The folks in Alaska, the results are in. It sounds like cruise ships are not going to be banned. The mail-in ballots are being tallied, and it seems like the Juneauans, is that what we would call them? The Juneauans are favorable for cruise ships every day of the week. How about that? Boom. Thanks for watching the show. Hit the like button. This is Tony for La Lido Loca. Until next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye. Cruise news.
Cruise news, it's over.